All right, guys. So most of you have been on these calls before, but I have to always remind myself that most of you are listening to us and watching this in replay, which is great. It's fine. So with that said, you might not know Eric Orland. And so Eric, you can introduce yourself or I'll introduce you for you.
You can introduce me, Tom.
Okay, cool. All right, so Eric's been involved with eXp. Well, Eric's got an interesting background on all kinds, essentially as and mostly real estate background, but also going back to Wall Street. He was doing some trading on Wall Street. And that's the reason he kind of looks like somebody who would have been in the original Wall Street with Gordon Gekko. He's got that look because he was. And anyway, fast forward. So when did you join eXp? 2 years ago?
John, when did I join? I think 2 years and 2 months ago, right? I think November 13th of 2019. So 2 years and 2 months.
Okay, so what I'm wanting to want all of you guys to take from this time we're gonna have with Eric today, he's being very generous. He just flew, he's been busier than hell. He's moving from Florida to Puerto Rico, but right now he's out in Arizona working with some folks from his on his team, not real estate team, revenue share team. So what I want you guys to pay attention to is what Eric is doing to attract people. And I'll do some more setting up so we can just jump right into it. Okay, Eric?
Yep.
So he did not have, Eric had in South Florida, he had some name recognition, but he didn't have any sort of outsized, international influence or anything like that. I'm not taking anything away from him by saying that. What I'm trying to explain to you is what he did, you guys can replicate. And so what Eric did, and he did it at an exceptionally high level, is he did not screw around getting ready to get started. Maybe a 30 days of sort of figuring out where things, where the furniture is so he can walk around. But after he figured all that out psychologically, he just started working the phones. He started making phone calls. He started, first of all, obviously calling the agents that he knew the best, and I'll leave it up to you. I'll give it over to you from there. Again, Eric, what I'm hoping they're going to take away is that your system, similar to what Julie and I do, incredibly duplicatable and not something that's going to require a lot of high level calculus for them to emulate.
Thanks, Tim. So yeah, I mean, the system is run a very simple system. As many of you know, I'm not super tech savvy. I treat this as a sales-based business, which it is. Each and every day I'm on the phone. I probably make somewhere between 60 to 75 calls a day. I'd say 60 to 75 calls a day minimum each and every day. And it starts at 8:30 every morning. It doesn't end until probably 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. And my goal is very clear. My goals are very, very clear. I believe it's as easy to aim high as it is low. I carry around a gold card in my wallet that I will have 28,500 people at eXp within the next 4 years. And nothing gets in the way of doing that. Tim has often said this, and I repeat it all the time. My 61 years, I believe that eXp provides us an opportunity to build something that has never, ever, ever been made available before. I believe it's the best opportunity that I've seen, and I'm a former investment banker that's taken companies public. I believe that eXp is the best platform that I've seen in my entire life, and I believe it's the best platform I'm going to see going forward. I think that any realtor on a global basis that doesn't have blinders on or have their hands over their ears has to acknowledge that eXp allows realtors to run a more efficient business based on the level of support, the high level of technology, and it also provides realtors a financial opportunity to keep more of their hard-earned commissions and have, for the first time ever, the opportunity for we as realtors to get paid like a broker without having any liability, outlay any capital, any management responsibilities. We as realtors, for the first time ever, have the ability to build extraordinary wealth. And so my focus each and every day is taking advantage of that and doing so in the most wholesome manner possible. My focus is not on selling people. My focus is on connecting with people. So when I get somebody on the phone, it is all about asking them questions, seeing how I can be of service, and putting myself in a position to simply compare and contrast what eXp offers versus what they're receiving at their existing brokerage firm. And I believe in my heart of hearts that unless an agent is wearing blinders or has their hands over their ears, that they'll quickly recognize that eXp aligns with the direction that they want to take their real estate business.
Eric, let me ask you some questions about what you said, because it could be intimidating to some people. Yeah. How often have you actually had to have dueling spreadsheets to try to sell somebody? In other words, how frequently have you actually had gotten to the point where you need to show them on a spreadsheet or something very analytical and formal what their present situation is versus what it could be at eXp? Have you ever done that?
Very rarely, although I just came out with the calculator. So today, if somebody wants to give me big pushback, I'm going to simply shine a light. This is what you're paying at your existing brokerage. If you plug in this 5 or 6 numbers, you'll quickly identify that you're paying more than you need to. And if you simply changed your license to eXp, you'd be giving yourself a pay increase. So Tim, I have not done that a whole lot, but I am now using this tool more frequently. If somebody's pushing back, I'm going to simply shed the light by showing them, right? Showing them clearly and concisely how if they change their license, and we give them this spreadsheet, we have them plug in the numbers so they could see right in front of them how eXp is beneficial to better fending for themselves and their family.
There's a spreadsheet like that I got from, I don't remember who, it may have come from eXp Corporate. I think it did, that I put on Libertas last week. And it actually has all the numbers for all of our primary competitors already plugged in. So you can go and take their numbers and the spreadsheet already has all the math figured out and it'll plug out what the actual cost difference is. So, and of all the people I personally sponsored and Julie sponsored, again, I'm only passing this along because some of you believe that you have to have some sort of high level understanding of all the little intricate details. For the most part, when you have these conversations, especially about what they're going to save, they don't know what they're paying. I mean, that's really the start of all these conversations, is they have no clue what they're paying the present broker. Even sometimes you get these, like I had one the other day where I'm at Remax, I've been at Remax forever and I'm 100%. And then it's like, well, I just pay a monthly fee or whatever it was. And it wasn't that much. And on paper, it's like, man, you got to stay there. They're like paying Remax $2,500. But I knew that they also had a 5 or 6% royalty that they weren't even considering as part of their commission split, but it actually was. So then I readdressed what they made and multiply it times what their royalty was. And they didn't even know what their royalty was in this conversation. So I said, this is what the average is. We'll just use the low end of the average, and it was like something like $32,000 versus 16 at eXp. So that kind of sells itself. And when you move, sometimes just as far as the point I'm trying to express to all of you guys is when you're doing attraction calls, very rarely does it involve you having to do much more than, okay, let's drill down, Eric. So when you're dealing with a new agent, what is it that they're focused on? Like a new agent, you get somebody newer agent, what do you go to? Do you talk about revenue share with them?
No, I really, for the most part, I focus on, they're recently not licensed. What I'm focusing on is how to provide them the tools and resources so they could quickly ramp up and sell residential real estate. So I'll hone in on, somebody's coaching class, right? I'll hone in on a coaching class where I can quickly plug them in. I'll hone in on the fact that at KV Core with the right tutelage provided by Sylvia Dana, right? They'll receive lead flow. I mean, what's the most important thing to a new agent is going out there and identifying buyers and sellers. So we pay really careful attention to, again, it's always about asking questions, less is more, and building a relationship.
For sure.
And every call is tailored just a little bit differently.
Yeah, well, because revenue share is a very rare, revenue share is something that intimidates a lot of you guys. You don't want to talk about it. I know, because I've role played talking about it with you sometimes. And so the move is don't assume that to Eric's point, don't assume that they all want to talk about it, because 90% of all eXp agents don't get any revenue share. So that tells you that most people are joining eXp because it's a great brokerage, which, by the way, if anyone ever accuses us of being all recruiting and an MLM and all the rest of it, the simple statistic is that 90% of all the eXp agents of the 73,000 agents don't receive revenue share. So what that objection or that slight against the company is completely a lie, basically. Right. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking, so the other thing you didn't mention is the mentor program that a new agent would be able to get hold of too.
Yeah, we obviously, because they have to join that, right? That's a rule that's incorporated by eXp. So we do talk about that as well.
Okay. So when a new agent says to you, because this is, something you hear occasionally, like the local mom and pop is trying to sell the physical location, and you come into the office and you can always like rap on our door and ask us questions and, chew the fat with us. So when you get somebody that thinks that the physical office is going to be an advantage over eXp World and the rest of it, how do you overcome that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tim. And that actually happened in one of our calls this morning, right? Both of you were sitting here when somebody asked me exactly that this morning. I said, how many times have you been in a situation where you wanted a quick answer from your broker. I said, do you ever have any feeling of anxiety or stress that if your broker was not available for you, there left your answer, there left you having a question that was unanswered? At eXp, we're in a position where we have over 500 full-time employees that are at your beck and call, that are in place to answer any questions that you have so you can run the most efficient real estate business possible. Do you see how that's a benefit to you?
So here's just as you have, in some cases, you can text or call your local broker, but also you can, to add color to what Eric just said, or you can go to eXp World, go to the broker area, and there's always a broker on duty that you can ask a question. Even if they're not your state's broker, they're going to be able to answer your question. So there's never a lack of attention from having direct hand-holding from a brokerage when you need it. And remember, when you started out as a new agent, you're always going to have that mentor program to help you with the first 3 deals. So, but new agents are very rarely a challenge because they see the value. Eric said something a second ago, guys. I hope you are paying attention to it. In essence, he said, don't sell with blah, blah, blah when you can sell with blah. And new agents, all agents, they don't want blah, 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 blah. They want to basically, you pull out of them what they want, what's important to them. And just recognize that what's important to a new agent is completely different than an agent. Like, here, I'll give you another profile, Eric, okay? Okay, so it's a married couple. They've been in real estate for 15 years or whatever. They're consistently successful. They have a daughter that's helping them in the real estate business. You get a lot of calls like this. Let's say they're in their mid 50s or whatever. They're looking for a way to transition. They're kind of not clear about the path forward. They've been making transactional income for a long time, don't have any rental properties, don't have any retirement, that type of thing, like scenario 1A for every single real estate licensee in North America. How do you would not sell to them the way you sold I'm saying selling just to encapsulate what we're doing here. You would not present to them as you would a new agent. What would you change?
I would ask them, I would ask them, would they agree that if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you always got? What do you plan on doing differently to allow yourself to yield different results? What are you going to do differently? So I come at them completely. What I do is I create that sense of doubt, that I create that sense of fear that if they don't do something differently, they're going to be stuck in the very same position.
How do you do it, Eric? Eric, seriously, how do you do it? So role play it with me.
Okay. So you're saying to me, I'm an agent who's kind of like stuck in the mud and I'm not having a whole lot of success in the business.
No, I'm moderately successful, right? I've been moderately successful for a long time. But I don't have any real financial security. The economy, if people are talking about rising interest rates and inflation, and I heard talk about who knows what's going to happen. Maybe there's a recession. So I'm feeling a little insecure. All of us are going to get calls like this. All of us are probably feeling this at differing levels. How does eXp solve that problem of my fears of the, coming, economic changes and whatever? How does that?
Tim, I'm listening to you carefully, and what I think I hear you saying is that you're concerned about both the real estate market and not having a pool of money set aside when you retire. You don't have that security, that all important security. Is that accurate?
Okay, so first of all, what he did was great. Perfect sales. He repeated what I said, and he said it so that they knew, or I knew, he was listening to what I said. He took a breath, he thought about it, and he probably would have even, had this been a real sales environment, he probably would have even given it more affirming of my question. That's a great question. I love it when I get that question. And then said what he said, something like that. But that's very important when you hear in any kind of sales environment that you repeat and affirm what they just said so they know you're listening. Yes, Eric, that's what I'm saying.
Tim, would you be open-minded to the eXp brokerage platform if it provided you that additional security, that all-important security that you're looking for, by offering you multiple streams of income, and provided you at the same time, provided you lead flow to ensure that you would absolutely sell more real estate? If we could accomplish both of those tasks, would you be open-minded to potentially changing your brokerage?
So I like what he said. He isolated what my 2 concerns were. My concerns were keeping my business viable so I keep my cash flow going. And my second concern was specifically figuring out an alternative financial path forward that's not going to be 100% transactionally based. You guys pick up what he said? So he's not going to go and talk about anything other than those 2 things. As we move forward, if this were an attraction call, he's not going to talk about eXp World or the virtual boat rides. He might not even bring up health insurance or anything else. He's just going to focus on those 2 things. So one of the tie downs that you might want to throw into there would be, so just so that I'm clear, once I've completely satisfied your concerns with regards to how we're going to help you increase production and how we're going to build a financial future for you that is not transactionally based, where you can maybe one day not have to work at all or as much. Once we solve those two problems for you, will there be anything else standing in the way of us moving forward? Or maybe he doesn't want to be that aggressive depending on who the person is.
That would happen in what we call our rating call. That would be a second call where I ask them on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you at? What's inhibiting you from moving forward right now? And I would then tie down at that point in time. But my takeaway is this, that each and every day that we have this incredible tool, this phone, and by picking this phone up and simply connecting with people, I'm looking at the screen right now. Corey Christensen, who just came aboard to eXp. Corey had blown me. Hey, buddy, how are you? It's good to see you. Corey, how many times, on all honesty, I love you, no disrespect, would you unmute your mic? How many times did you blow me off, dude?
Probably 3, maybe 4.
And what I continue to come back is just nurture the relationship. We have a great working relationship. Corey's a recruiter. Corey is going to be a major freaking star at the company. But I didn't sell Corey. I built a relationship with Corey, and I never spent more than 3 or 4 minutes at a time with Corey on the phone, because less is more. Less is more. I'm always cognizant of not putting my foot in my mouth. And the way that I'm cognizant is that I am constantly asking questions with the mindset of building a relationship with Corey. We built a relationship, and 4 months later, Corey's on board. Same thing could be said about, good friend Michael Garcia Carreras is on the phone today. The reality is that each and every one of us have this all important tool, this phone. And the more times you pick up this phone and you're assertive in terms of reaching out to people, you'll build a real estate business. You just need to have a system in place that you work. You need to have a system in place that you work over and over and over again. I think the reason, and we this month, what did we bring on? We brought on 16 agents in the last 35 days. So 16 new agents to our FLA in the last 35 days. I anticipate we'll bring on at least another 12 in February. And the reason that we're doing this is we're simply just working a system. We're working a system, and nothing gets in the way. We look at our business like a McDonald's franchise, that we know each and every time we pick up the phone, what are the questions we're going to ask, what tools we're going to use to follow up with them. And we never deviate. In the same way that the person who's flipping burgers at McDonald's, they're not leaving it up to that person when to flip the burger. They have a system in place that they're working, which makes their business, which makes McDonald's or In-N-Out Burger, any joint, it makes their business duplicatable. So we run a business that is very, very duplicatable by always staying true to who and what we are, by honoring the system that we have.
So you put 9 people in the last 30 days, right?
I put 11, and then 5 have already come in since 5 came in over the last 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, 5 came in. So we put in 16, 11 and 5. We put in 16 people in the last 35 days.
And your overall group now is how big?
We have 60. So far, we've brought on 68 FLQA. Well, 54 people. Well, 54 FLA by the end of today.
Okay. All right. So we've been bouncing around a little bit. I want you to describe your funnel, because you obviously have a really established funnel. But again, what I want all of you guys to pay attention to is what he is doing is not a bunch of stuff that's hard to do.
All right. So I'm going to give you it from top to bottom, right? So every day, it's really important that when I look at my calendar, I don't know if you can see my phone, but every moment of my day, every half hour on the hour, I'm booked on a call. And there's nothing. With the exception of something happening to my son, there's nothing that gets in the way of me being on these calls. And before I ever pick up the phone, somebody receives a text from me saying that I'm really looking forward to connecting this morning and sharing with you the tremendous benefits of the eXp brokerage platform. Corey, you remember this? Michael, you remember this? I'm really looking forward to sharing with you the incredible benefits of the eXp brokerage platform and learning more about your real estate business. I'll be calling you in exactly 15 minutes so we can connect. Hope your morning's off to a great day, or hope you're enjoying a great day, Eric. And I call promptly, not a minute late. I call promptly at that time.
Okay, so
every call is the same. You ready?
That's good. So you have someone calling and pre-qualifying. They're setting moderately interested people. So I wanted to point that out because it's not like they're just setting like, oh, I'm ready to sign up types. These are people that are still going to have their objections. So then they have then I also heard you say something else, and this is really important. You're confirming the appointment, not assuming they're just going to show. And I'm sure there's emails and reminders and all the rest of it that are going out, but you're calling them and you're saying, I'll talk to you in 15 minutes. Make sure you're on that call. The confirming is the whole ball of wax when you're doing phone sales.
Definitively. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's,
which is terrible, but it is. It's the truth. Yeah.
So that goes out every 15 minutes prior to my phone call, right?
Okay.
Corey could attest to that, right? Every 15 minutes prior to that phone call, that message gets sent out. And then, I get into my script, right? I get into the script that I feel comfortable. And Corey, why don't you unmute your mic since you've done this with me before? So Corey, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to speak with me today. I was really looking forward to us connecting. How's your day going?
It's pretty busy. Thank you for the reminder. I was just doing a showing, just reminded me, hey, you make this phone call. I stepped outside real quick just to make sure I was available for you. Did appreciate you giving me the heads up. And I'm thankful for your time for me.
Awesome, Corey. Hey, Corey, do me a favor. I want to get a feel for who you are. Would you mind sharing with me a little bit about your background? Would you tell me a little bit like where you're from? How long have you been in real estate? And the level of success that you're experiencing. So again, I can just get a flavor for who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So still fairly a new agent. I've only got about a year or so under the belt, but I was lucky enough to get partnered up with a team. Gave me a ton of leads. I'm running around doing great. I've closed 11 deals so far in about 8 months. So, not great, but obviously, doing better than most first-year agents. The teamwork is great. I just really don't like having to give up all my splits all the time and all my transactions.
So Corey, I'm going to stop you for a second. Corey just gave me a shitload of information, right? He gave me a lot of information. So first of all, he's having success. He has 8 deals in 11 months. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to praise him, and I'm going to ask him. But he also, he gave me a couple of tidbits here. I'm going to praise him. He's done well. So I'm going to acknowledge that. But he also said to me something that's very important. He told me one of his pain points. He told me that he's giving up too much piece. He's giving up a big piece of the pie. So watch, Corey, what do you attribute to your success in the business? 11 home sales or 8 home sales in the period of time that you've been doing this is absolutely outstanding. What do you attribute to your success?
So the relationships I build with my clients and speed. I make sure that I'm the first one to get on that house as soon as it comes on the market.
Interesting. Corey, where do you see taking your business over the next 12 months? If you could script out for me, where do you want to take your business in terms of production?
Well, I definitely want to continuously build to potentially double every year for the next few years. But, I don't want to have to run and gun forever. I want to figure out avenues that develop passive income. So, I could start, multiplying my efforts without having put so many hours in to achieve the same goals.
All right. So it's another pain point I just identified. So he wants to double his business. What would be an appropriate question for me to ask Corey right now? So I want to strike a little bit. I want to put the fear of God into him a little bit.
Well, he said two. Actually, he just said 3 things. Corey, are you ex-military?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was the first thing he said. I'm going to guess Marines.
No, I was actually Air Force, but I had a real job in the Air Force though.
All right. So he said he gave a clue that he was in the military, which aside from his haircut, the run and gun thing. And number 2, he did say something about production, but number 3, tying back to the original one, he doesn't want to have to be running and gunning forever.
Yep.
Right. So that right there, and Eric, this is the reason Eric chose him, is a perfect eXp agent, because this is the only solution. There is no eXp or somebody else for somebody who's smart like he is.
But I had already, so I'll go back for a second. When I was recruiting Corey, we'd established a relationship. I met him in a cold call. Somebody gave me a piece of paper and gave me his name. That's the honest to God truth. Right, Corey?
Yes, sir.
It was as cold could be. I was calling, it was a cold call. Nobody set the call for me. I called them up straight from the get-go. It was a cold call. Corey said to me, I'm a recruiter. I love recruiting. My background is in recruiting, and he's in real estate, right? So this was an absolute no-brainer for me. Right? I was like, all right, he's successful, he's smart, and he's a recruiter, and he's working for KW, and KW agents get paid from their profit share plan, which is a very, it's a finite number. The profitability of a branch can only be so big. So I knew that, I knew who my audience was. But watch, so Corey said to me he wants to double his business. The next appropriate question is, I'm going to give him a little jab here. I'm going to say, Corey, what's your game plan in terms of doubling your business for the next 12 months? And what are 99% of the agents going to say to you?
Get more leads.
No idea how to do it.
Yep. Maybe lead generation. That'd be the only answer I'd be able to give.
All right. So now I've identified he's got a pain point when it comes to giving away part of his commissions and lead flow, two very important things that we could accomplish. Okay. Corey, who is your current real estate brokerage firm?
Sorry, sir. One more time.
Who is your current brokerage firm?
I'm in with the Maryland group. GBBR is my board, and I'm attached with the Maryland group.
Gotcha. Corey, what do you like best about the Maryland group as having them as your broker? How do they help you build your best business? What do you like best about having them as your brokerage partner?
So very collaborative. It was good for a first agent. I felt like I had a lot of training resources. There were some good mentors there. So, I mean, that was, that's a hesitation. I don't want to have to give that up, going into, a new group.
Or is there anything that you don't like about the Maryland group as your brokerage partners? Anything you do to modify or change that relationship?
Well, obviously the monetary issue is there. More referral network access. I don't feel like the referral network is very collaborative. Not a lot gets produced out of it.
Okay. Do you happen to know anything about eXp? Fastest growing real estate company of all time. Do you happen to know anything about the platform?
I've heard a little bit about, how you guys leverage technology, but, I heard the rumors like everyone else. It's a recruiting agency essentially with, multi-level marketing tactics built in. And that's all I really know.
All right. So I've now assembled a bunch of information, and I'm going to use one of 3 scripts that I've written based on how the questions that he's answered so far. So I know that he's giving away too much money. I know he's concerned about lead flow. So watch how I just throw this back to him. And I'm going to say it in a way that kind of raises a flag. And I'm going to ask him if he's open-minded. And I'm deliberately going to use the word open-minded, because if you're not open-minded, what are you? You're closed-minded. That's like calling somebody ignorant. But I can't say, Corey, don't be ignorant, right? So I'm going to ask Corey in a very polite way if he'd be open-minded. Corey, did I not say this exactly to you?
Oh, yes. And it worked. The word choice definitely mattered in the moment.
Eric, it's kind of funny. Aren't you in somebody's office in Arizona that you also sponsored from cold calling?
My office. Oh, yeah. Jeff
Yeah.
He's become one of my best friends.
Yeah.
I'm here with Jeff, and I'm here with Christoph, who runs Land Voice. They're both sitting to my right.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting though? And Eric's going to come out with a book. I'm trying to get him to call it One Effing Call. Because with one effing call, he sponsored Orlando Montiel. That's his book.
Yeah, it was a very good cold call. And I'm going to say to you again, the bigger they are, the quicker they understand the model. I mean, Corey got the model like this. I mean, Corey just got it. Mike Garcia got the model quickly. Jeff got the model on our first conversation, and he brought in his broker, his former broker, who's his best buddy, Rob Becker, who's on the screen. Right? Model sells itself. You don't have to.
So Eric, I have a question for you. So you don't use any of the model explain videos, like you don't use Brent's video or anything like that?
No, we're filming our own video.
Okay.
We could do it. And I say this with all due respect. I'm very transparent, as all of you know. I'm not always politically correct. I love Brent's first video, which was a little longer. I think his second video is okay. So I'd like to put my own spin on it. So we're shooting our own 25-minute video today, and we're going to have that as part of our agent attraction process.
So the only thing that might be intimidating about what you're doing is that it does require skill. That a lot of and as you know, Eric, a lot of agents are going to be reluctant to it takes skill, but it's going to take a lot of calls. It takes a lot, but at this point they can just duplicate basically what's already out there. They don't even have to write any scripts or anything. But just for example, I just want to balance out what Eric is saying with the little cheat that I use, frankly, and it's worked 163 times, is when someone messages me or I'm in contact with somebody, my rule is they have to go to ylibertas.com and they have to watch at least the first 2 videos that are on ylibertas.com. The second one is Brent's video, which I agree with what Eric said. It's 40 minutes long. There's some factual information that's not current, but it doesn't matter, because I know if they watch that video, when I get a call with them, they're going to join. And it's like 100% of the time, because but first of all, usually on text, I'll ask them, are they ready to join? If they're looking for more information. I send them the website, tell them to watch the 2 videos. They watch the 2 videos, and then I say, so, it's 2:33 Atlantic Standard Time. So I'll call you tomorrow about 2:30 after you've watched the videos and answer any of your questions. And that pretty much always works, right? So that's if you're getting somebody that's soliciting you or somebody that you already have a relationship with. What Eric's doing is he's showing you guys how he's creating these leads by actually doing the real work. As if you were learning how to prospect, call FSBOs, expired, centers of influence, past client, the stuff, that all of you guys should be doing. Did I hit the nail on the head, Eric?
You did, but I want to track back on something you just said. So, Jeff and I have created this program, and we believe it's attraction for dummies. The truth of the matter is, every question that I just asked Corey, any one of you could ask those questions. I'm not saying that everybody can give a presentation. I think there's a skill set in doing that. Yes, I think that we all have what I call our own geniuses, right? If you asked me to hang a picture in a wall, I would look at you like you had 8 heads, or use a hammer or a screwdriver for something. It's completely outside of what my capability is. But if you would ask me to give a presentation, I am very, very comfortable. You don't have to, and Orlando says this all the time, you don't have to master being able to explain eXp. It is complicated. There's tons of moving parts, and inevitably we wind up overselling it. Leave it to people. Bring them to Sean's call, bring them to my call, bring them to Colette's call, bring them to somebody else's call. You don't have to master the presentation. What you have to master, please listen carefully to this. The only thing you have to master is building a relationship and understanding who the hell you're talking to. I know the 6 or 7 questions I'm going to ask Corey. I've created a McDonald's franchise. Just duplicate it. And then I'm going to throw back to Corey what he gave to me. Corey, would you be open-minded to really exploring the eXp platform? Watch. If it allowed you the opportunity to keep more of those all-important commissions, he told me yes previously. If it allowed you to get the lead flow that you had mentioned, so you would absolutely sell more real estate, and Corey at the same time provided you multiple streams of income to ensure that you absolutely made more money. Would you find that compelling, Corey? And would you be open-minded to being recruited? Corey, say yes.
Yes. And I just want to add one of the biggest pieces, and just so we're clear, I didn't blow you off. I was busy. But I think that's key, because, it wasn't a constant sales pitch every touch point. It was just building the relationship and having an active human conversation. That really sold me. It really did. He was consistent, diligent, not too aggressive, and just kept me in mind, made me feel like I was actually on his mind. And it was great.
So Eric, let me ask you a question. Eric, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So you had done enough of this that you knew Corey was somebody that was worth staying in contact with over a long period of time.
Yeah.
So what would be the initial contact with somebody where you would say, this person is not somebody I'm going to invest a lot of follow-up time on? What's the where do you decide to go this direction versus that?
So it's a great freaking question. So, I sent out the text that I mentioned before, that I sent out a text prior to ever picking up the phone. And this woman, Amy, texted me back yesterday, and she said, I'm really not interested in moving brokerage. I just want to hear what you have to say. And I texted her back and said, you know what? I don't spend my time, doing that. In the same way that you get paid to go to work, my time is valuable. And I'm going to decline the appointment at this point in time. If things were to change for you, and if you're ever open to a further exploring eXp to see if it aligns with the direction you want to take your business, I'd be happy to jump on a phone call with you, but it doesn't seem like the appropriate time now. Please let me know if anything changes. If somebody is not open-minded, if somebody is not willing to explore, if somebody is not open to put themselves in a better position to make more money, to keep more money and run a more efficient business, then I don't know. I don't want to say I don't want to call them ignorant. I just did, I guess.
They're just not ready. It's just not their time.
If they're not ready, that's okay.
That's the way to say it.
It's not a pushback. It's nothing against me personally. It's nothing against them. People are ready at different points and times in their life. And I don't take it personally.
Yep. That's a good way of saying, I got that from Brent, by the way. It's just not their time. He said it in a very amiable way. Why is this person, not doing this or whatever. It's just not their time. All right. Well, don't take it personally was the point that I think Eric's making.
Yeah, without a doubt. Don't take it personally. But I want to go back to what Corey said. If I look at the screen again, there's Mike Garcia on the screen. There's Rob on the screen. There's Corey on the screen. We're all good friends. We have a great working relationship. So we build relationships. We don't sell. We build relationships. And quite honestly, today, if I don't like somebody or they're just a bad fit for the organization, I made a determination. I'm not going to bring somebody on that's going to sabotage what we do or our core group. Right. And, Colette, runs an organization the exact same way. She's always talking about, her agents and the family environment. And we run the business the exact same way. We're very selective in terms of who we bring on board today. Is that fair? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to encourage everybody listening to the call to know that you can absolutely do this. This is not brain surgery. You can ask the 6 or 7 questions I just asked to Corey and watch how I take it forward. You ready? So Corey, what I'd like to do based on your openness is I'd like to send you out an email that has 2 short videos. One of these videos is 9 minutes. The other is 30 minutes. The only commitment, Corey, I'm going to ask you to make is to watch these videos. So when I follow up with you, you and I could have a meaningful conversation and you could formulate any questions that you have for me. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Corey, would you be able to watch these videos within the next day or 2?
Yes, I can.
And I'm going to close for the appointment right then and there. And I'm going to close for the appointment right then and there. I'm going to send out the 2 videos. I'm going to go right into my CRM. I'm going to send them a nice thank you note. I'm going to put a task reminder, and I'm going to put notes in the system. I mean, right now we're chasing how many people?
There's 600 prospects in the system.
600 prospects in the system. I bet we're really chasing about 170. I think we'll bring on 40 within a 3-month period.
So let me ask you a question. This is a good point though. So you have an appointment scheduled with Corey tomorrow at 1 o'clock or whatever. You're messaging him ahead of time and asking him if you watch the videos prior to the appointment?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And if he hasn't, Eric, what do? Do you still go to the appointment?
Can you put, no. I may call him. Tim, can you share your screen with me?
You mean you want me to share, you want to share your screen is what you're saying?
No, you have to share with me, right?
Just make him a
Oh,
call.
you have to give me permission.
I know. I understand what he's asking.
I don't know what the hell I'm asking. This is technology.
You're good.
This is way over my head. So again, it's a solid proof. So Jeff, go into the system and watch what I do. So go into anybody's profile here. Go into somebody we don't like here. Go into Rob Becker's profile. Go to Rob. I love Rob though. Go into Rob's profile. 3 down. Oh, he was there. It's okay, bud. It's all right. Just go Rob Becker. Right there. 3 down. You got him right there. Go to Rob, right? So I'm going to have a meeting with Rob in a half an hour. Watch. Go to texts. Can't believe I know this. Tim, you impressed? Go to new text.
I'm totally
Me too. Go to new text. Go to templates.
By the way, you guys can
It's already
subscribe.
written.
You guys can subscribe to the CRM Grow. It's made by a guy in eXp.
Go to tier, but this is what we've created. Everything.
Yep.
So I'm going to send out rating. I'm going to send out. So if he didn't show up on the call, I'm going to send out a rating call no show. Go to number 6. Go to number 6. Watch. Go hit number 6, Jeff. And move that out. Can you move that out of the way so I can read that, buddy? Yeah. Thanks, pal. Hi, Rob. I'm looking forward to us reconnecting and hearing your feedback on the eXp videos. I'm confident the platform will align with the direction you want to take your real estate business. I'll be calling you in approximately 30 minutes for our scheduled call. Hope your day is off to a great start. Boom. And it's done. Hit go. And Rob's just received that text. From that text, this is our second call, and we call this a rating call, right? Again, the goal is to get off the call as quickly as possible by gathering information. Corey, since I've done this with you, Jeff, you could lower that. Jeff, do here. Yeah. So now I'm going to take Corey on a rating call, right? So he's watched the videos. I'm going to take him on a rating call. This is, again, it's a template. I want to keep it simple, stupid. It has to be, you could tell, I don't even know how to work technology. It has to be simple for me to work at. Corey, I'm going to go back to Corey. Corey, I'm going to use what we call an assumptive close. Corey, I've been really looking forward to reconnecting with you. Was that not the best brokerage platform you've ever seen? Have you ever seen a platform that provides that level of support and at the same time allows you to keep more of your commission with multiple streams of revenue made available? Corey, is that not phenomenal?
It was great. Best one I've seen so far.
Awesome. Corey, what questions have you formulated for me?
Well, I'd like to get, some hands-on experience. Is there any chance maybe I can take a look at that technology a little bit deeper? I just kind of want to see what it's like to actually work with it.
Absolutely. Corey, I'm going to send you out a tech tour. I'm going to go back into my CRM and we have a tech tour. It's a 3-minute video on KV Core. It's a 3-minute video on Workplace. I can't believe I know this shit. And it's a 3-minute video on KV Core, Workplace, and SkySlope.
Hey, Eric.
Right?
Put something in there, Eric, listen, put something in there about Verbella and eXp world, because eXp is about to blow the sky off the, trust me, you want to have metaverse in there. That's eXp world.
Yeah, we took them on the eXp tour. That's actually a great idea, Tim.
Yeah, they're about to do a massive PR blitz about eXp having its own metaverse.
So I'm going to answer all of Corey's questions, and I'm going to wrap this up by saying the following. I'm going to inject some personality. Corey, you ever been in a date with somebody and you dropped them off and you thought, heck, I wonder what they're thinking about me? Corey, I don't want to think. I want to ask you a question. On a scale from 1 to 10, 1, no interest in joining eXp whatsoever. 10, you've got a clear understanding why this is the fastest growing real estate company in the history of real estate, and you're ready to join us today. Where do you stand?
I'm at a 9.5, sir.
Corey, what's going to take to move that needle to a 10?
I just want to see how much money I can make with you guys.
Awesome.
Eric, let me ask you a question. So when you have somebody that's really like Corey, I'm sure, when someone's really interested in revenue share, and I'm going to give you guys some advanced information. The revenue share chart where it's 2.8% of this and 3.2% of this, that chart, which frankly I've never explained, never used once for sponsoring anybody, is about to go away. It's going to be eliminated from all the eXp collateral. So they're going to come up with something new, but the essence of it is we're not going to have to worry about all that analytical information anymore. So Eric, I'm asking you, when you're explaining to Corey, what does revenue share truly mean? Do you use stories, or what are you leaning into?
I lean into the fact that, have you ever heard of a company that actually, do you understand the benefit of what revenue sharing is? Instead of dumping money into an office, which most agents don't use today anyway, they work out of the comfort of their home, or they'll even go to a coffee shop. They don't want to feel confined to an office. If this holds true, why are brokerage still building offices? The brilliance and the generosity of the eXp platform is the following. Instead of dumping money into an office, the company is simply sharing 50% of their revenues with people like you and I who are sharing eXp with other agents.
Do you give them stories? Do you drill down and give them actual numbers, something they can chew on?
Yeah, I mean, and I'll say, I'm a perfect example. I've sponsored now almost 70 people into eXp over the last, 2 years and 2 months. And the way eXp is set up is that I've got a total group, and I explain a little bit of what that is. I have a total group that's approaching 1,500 people right now, providing me an income that I never dreamed possible just 2 years and 2 months ago.
So that's really important. I want you guys to break down what he just said. So what he said, and it's excellent, is he was saying, this is how many people I've sponsored, though the 50 number is going to intimidate most everyone, especially in such a short period of time, just, that. But, so the thing that Gene Frederick said, I'm going to tell you guys 2 things. You guys should write this down. This is, a story, but this is a story that's worth repeating. If you sponsor 5 people per year over the next 5 years, and you have 25 people, I'm oversimplifying it, and all 25 of those people are FLQA, oversimplifying it, but just stay with me here. And now your group on average will grow to at least 600 agents, because that's how the company is growing. Now, what I just told you was a story that I heard 3 years ago based on information that was probably 4 years old. And that's before the company really started growing at the rate that it is. Now, I heard Gene Frederick, who told me that story, say something very interesting on a Zoom this morning. So Gene at Keller Williams, since Keller Williams has profit share, but there's usually no profit to share, said at Keller Williams, he was he was right the hell up there in terms of where his profit share check was, top 30 maybe. He said it would take him 40 years for what Keller Williams was paying him profit share for him to make what he's making in revenue share at eXp this year. That's a fun fact, I thought.
Yeah,
but
it's unbelievable.
but make it so everyone can understand. That's the thing that's the beauty of revenue share, really. I mean, not everyone's going to want to make or even fathom like what Eric's talking about as far as his numbers go. But do you put math to it? Do you tell them numbers? Do you say like 1,500 people by 40 FLQA would be equal to, X? Do you tell them that?
I do.
Okay, I do too. And I think that's important. And you can use other people's stories as an example. But just the one of the base questions is remember some of you guys might remember the whole ladder thing. If you've got somebody that's really trying to focus on revenue share, just ask them the question, like, how much do you personally have to in order to pay all your personal bills? Like, Corey, what's the number in your family for you to pay all your personal family bills?
A year or a month?
A year.
120.
Okay, so you need about 10 grand a month. So what I would then do is take that $10,000 and then I'd break it down like I will. You can make these numbers up. How much is your house payment of the 10 grand?
A month, $1,750 a month.
Okay, then I'd break down what the 10 grand was, and then those would denote the rungs in his ladder. And I'd say, here's what we're going to do with revenue share. Each of those chunks are going to be what we're going to attack. And this is how many people we're going to need in your overall group to make it so your house payment is paid for by revenue share. Now your house and truck payment, I know you have a truck. Your house and truck payment is paid for by revenue share. And then we're going to go from there. So what I'm doing is I'm giving him a personal view forward of what he's going to feel like, no longer having to worry about first is how. Now, sometimes I flip it and I'll do the smaller things first. That way people can see results faster. It's the Dave Ramsey retirement of debt plan scaled to revenue share. And people love that. They really resonate with it. But when you're trying to explain revenue share, make them attached to how they'll feel when they don't have to worry about essentially making all their money from transactions. I'm sorry, Eric, go ahead.
Tim, do you want me to make a live call? I mean, I'm going to do one in
Let's do it.
7
Hell
minutes.
yeah.
So I'm going to do one. Let me just send out the text really quickly.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to us connecting on our scheduled call today at 2 p.m. period. I'll be calling you in approximately 10 minutes to learn more about your real estate business and share eXp's incredible brokerage platform. Period. Thanks. Period. Eric. This is scripted. It's scripted. Everything I do. Good afternoon, Darren. I'm looking forward to us connecting on our scheduled call today at 2 p.m. Boom, boom, boom. All right, he's done. So I want to say something. Colette just posted something about the numbers, and this is a plug to Tim, Sean, and all of Libertas. If you look at our numbers for the period of time that we've been at eXp, we're blowing away the competition. So if you look at the numbers, you're assigned a number based on when you join the organization. Sean, myself, Tim, and Orlando, I mean, we would be in the very, very upper echelon. If you extrapolate the amount of time that we've been at eXp versus, Gene, Brent, I mean, some of the other top people in the organization, we are leaving the competition in the dust. Is that terribly politically incorrect to say that?
Well, but just they started at a different era, right? I mean, Eric, when Julie and I started in 3 years ago, 3 years and 1 month ago, it was so much harder than it is now, right? People didn't know what eXp was. There was such a whole huge, it was tiny. I mean, when Julie and I started, I think there was 8,500 agents or something. And it's gotten easier. So now it's not like before, it's what's eXp? Now, a lot of the conversations are, I'm going to join. Why should you be my sponsor? And I've got one of those calls here in 8 minutes. I'm going to join for sure. I want you to tell me, and I understand Libertas, I understand the values you guys present, but help me understand just for sure that I want to join with you guys. That's it. It's the emotional connection that Eric was talking about. So it's gotten so much easier because so many people are already going to do it. It's just like a seller is going to list their house. It's your job to make it so they list it with you. And it's the same exact thing. They're going to do it anyway. Just have them choose you. That's what the difference is. So comparing us to them, it's not completely a level playing field. Just like somebody like Corey getting in now, Corey having you in Libertas and all the past successes of eXp, he's going to have a hell of a lot easier time than we did, Eric, than you did 2 years ago. Yeah, we're all
finding the process really easy right now. I mean, the fact that we'll bring on 40 people in 3 months, it's a lot.
Well, the growth curve is really starting to take off. I mean, I'm privy to some of the internal numbers, and it's it's so amazing because every inflation and blah 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 blah, lack of inventory, blah blah, and then you see eXp's numbers. Because what happens is that when the economy starts, or people feel fear about the economy, let's just leave it at that, fear about anything, what they're going to do in the brokerage industry is they're already making no money or such small margins. They're going to move over to eXp. So eXp was designed for a down market or a changing market. And we are going to be going into a changing market, but it's going to be happening from inflation. And then there's going to, you can scale out the worst cases. I'm not going to talk about it, but the reality of it is eXp is going to have more people interested in what we have to offer because of what Corey's, I want to, help transactionally, but I also want to create alternative sources of income. I guarantee you, Rob Becker's thinking, I want alternative sources of income. I don't want to have to be relying on transactions forever. And the older you get, or if you're young and you're smart and you think like Corey does, or the older you get, the more you want. I mean, Eric, that was your motivation right there, 100% 2 years ago.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so there's so many people that are going to be looking for that, especially as everyone's telling them that the zombies are just over the rise and they're going to be coming down to your village soon. So don't use these fears that are going to be ginned up. And remember, it's an election year too. So don't use all these fears to dissuade you from recruiting, because it's easier. I hate that word easier, but there's more positive momentum with recruiting than there ever has been. Full stop.
Tim, let me just say this, I don't often plug products. So we're coming out with a product called the Attraction Flow. It will be out within the next 30 days. That's what I'm doing here in Arizona. We're filming and doing lots of stuff. This is attraction for dummies. Anybody, listen, I spent $3,000 on GoGo System. It was like writing in Chinese, creating videos and there were technology things I never heard about. I had a headache at night. It was nuts. This is attraction for dummies. This is a step-by-step process that will take you by the hand and absolutely help you build your revenue share business. It is brilliant. It is like a McDonald's. It is recruiting for dummies. And what makes it brilliant is the simplicity. It's the implementation of using it. It will be out within the next 30 days. All of the scripts are written. You've just seen, some of the scripts. All of the communication is automated, whether it's verbal or whether it's text or email. So everything is done for you. The only thing you have to do is plug them into an attraction call. It is
and do the work. I mean, Eric, ultimately, that's the thing. That's the difference between you and, frankly, everyone else I've ever met at eXp, aside from some people on this mastermind. You've done the work. You did the work from the beginning. You didn't look for shortcuts. You blame your lack of technological prowess. But the truth is the technological prowess wouldn't have necessarily gotten you the results that it's gotten you. It's because you picked up the phone and did the real work. You did the real, Julie and I say, doing the real work of real estate, doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it at the highest level. That's what you've done consistently for the last 2 years. And that's the reason you will have 20-some thousand agents within 5 years. I don't doubt it. Why wouldn't you? Honestly. I mean, Glenn said this morning that he's projecting by the end of this year, we'll have 120,000. I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, so 120,000 agents. Eric is going to start getting a disproportionate share of the new agents joining because he's already got momentum. You guys got to do the same thing. You can start small and start building up from there. And Eric, to what you said earlier, and I appreciate it, this is probably the last best opportunity of all of our lifetimes, unless you're a young woman like Colette. This is the last best business opportunity of all of our lifetimes. Now, not the last business opportunity, but the last best business opportunity, because the amount of money you can make in passive income with virtually no risk is incredible. And by the way, just so you're clear, there's not a done part of this. So even after Eric blows through 40 FLQA, you always are going to have to recruit, just not in the same level. So once he's at cruising altitude, which he's going to be probably within 6 or 7 months, and he's got 40 plus FLQA and he's maxing out the revenue share thing, he's going to still have to lead generate. He's still going to have to recruit, but it's only to replace the ones that happen to be churning off, which is normal. The work part is what he's doing now. The work part is what he's done for the last 2 years. And that's the reason he's succeeding at such a high level. And that unfortunately is the truth. I wish there were shortcuts, but there's not. There are short-term shortcuts, but they never work for maybe more than like a week or two. Eric, I'll let you leave it out, and we both got to get to work.
Yeah, I'll just say this to you. I'm going to make this call in 2 minutes, but I'll say this to you. It is hard work. building a rev share organization that pays you a tremendous amount of money. Nothing in life comes easy. Anything that's worth anything is worth working for. The reality is, though, we've created a multi-million dollar income for ourselves in a little over 2 years. I mean, that's just extraordinary. And what I love most is that I get to come to work each and every day and work with people who I genuinely care about, but people that, there's that old adage, the sum of all parts working together. We are truly the sum of all parts working together, pulling in the same direction. It's like nothing I've ever seen. Not only am I working hard, but I'm having fun doing it. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like a hobby. I'm building something. I'm having more joy and more excitement watching this thing flourish than I ever imagined possible. And that's what I would stress to all of you. Have fun with this, man. Enjoy this. It's a great ride. I'm going to make this call and I'll let you guys kind of hear this.
Hello, this is Darren.
Hey, Darren, Eric Orland. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I appreciate you taking a few moments to speak with me today. I was really looking forward to us connecting.
Sure, no problem.
Hey.
I actually have my wife with me, and I may put you on speakerphone so me and her both can talk to you.
Excellent. What's your wife's name?
Her name is Heidi.
Hey, Heidi. I'm Eric Orland. How are you?
Yeah, hold on one second. There you go. Can you hear us now?
I can. Heidi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I appreciate you and Darren taking a few moments to speak with me today.
Yes, sir.
Guys, tell me a little bit about yourselves. Where you're from originally, how long have you been in real estate, and what type of success are you experiencing?
We're from Western North Carolina. I'm from the mountains of North Carolina, and he's more from the foothills, the Hickory area.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in real estate. Well, I've been in real estate 50 years. He's dabbled in it 20 years. He was licensed a long time ago, but at last, that old story.
Right.
and just re-upped his license. And we've had pretty phenomenal success in a year.
Really share with me, what does that success look like?
Well, we did it, I guess you could say, part-time for a year, owning other businesses and also doing real estate, and still in our first year did 17 transactions.
That is absolutely phenomenal. I need to ask you guys, share with me, what do you attribute to your success?
Customer service.
Customer service.
Directly, we have a pretty solid sphere of influence. And so we really marketed to those folks by word of mouth and social media in the beginning.
Excellent. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're not buying leads. Most of your business is coming from referrals. Is that accurate?
That's accurate, yes.
Excellent. What are your goals for the next 12 months? What is it that you're going to accomplish?
As far as transaction-wise, we would love to be up in the 30 range. But more than anything, we really want to focus on marketing, increasing our sphere, and finding the right areas to farm. That's something we really want to narrow down this year.
Excellent. Excellent. Tell me a little bit about your brokerage firm. How long have you been with them for?
A year. We started with them. They're a franchise. Pretty good split. Great cooperative spirit. We love our brokers and cards. They're super helpful.
Awesome. Awesome. So it sounds like they provided great value to you. Heidi and Darren, what would you do to change or modify that relationship? Is there anything you don't like about having them as your brokerage partner?
As the brokerage firm?
Yes. If you could change anything about that brokerage relationship, what would that be? What does that look like?
Probably we would ask to improve the CRM, and they're actually in the process of doing that, which we're excited about seeing the future there. The current CRM is kind of clunky.
Yeah.
It's very dated, for lack of a better term.
Gotcha.
And there's no real user-friendly way to market yourself through that. However, with that said, they have migrated to a totally new platform that they're rolling out in the next 6 months.
Gotcha. Heidi Taryn, what do you know about eXp?
We know that it's a cloud-based brokerage. I'm not sure if it is technically considered a franchise or not.
Mhm.
We know that the 80-20 split. We know a little bit about the profit sharing and the stock options, and that's about all we know.
What? So, well, you know a lot. What about the platform has you excited? Why did you take this call today?
We are looking for a way to build a business instead of just a job.
I love that. Wow. You're looking
to build something for somebody else. We'd like to build something for ourselves.
Gotcha. And that comes in the form, I'm assuming, in the form of our residual income?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask the both of you, if this platform, if eXp allowed you the opportunity to increase your lead flow so you would sell more real estate, have superior technology and training, but at the same time allowed you to keep more of your commissions and provided multiple streams of income, one of which is passive, Heidi, what you're talking about. If it allowed you to create a passive income stream and build that all-important business, which would provide you extraordinary security, would you be receptive about joining us at eXp?
Oh, absolutely. We considered eXp from the beginning. However, with my lack of experience, I really wanted to be in a firm, in a tangible office with other people to bounce things off of.
Gotcha.
And that was just my initial insecurity.
I don't want to taint this experience and tell you too much. What I'd like to do is I'd like to send you out an email that has 2 short videos. One of the videos is 9 minutes. The other is about 30 minutes in duration. Would the both of you take the opportunity? Would you commit to taking the opportunity to watch both of these videos? So when I follow up with you, we can have a meaningful conversation and you could formulate any questions that you want to ask me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. 2 quick things I'm going to say to you. It is not a franchise. We are one international brokerage that spans all 50 states and over 22 countries. And number 2, it's not profit share. It's better, Heidi. The company is going to share 50% of their revenues. You know what the company's revenues were for the last quarter? $1.1 billion. They take 50% of their revenues. Instead of dumping it into an office, the company brilliantly and generously takes half of those revenues and gives it back to the agents, providing them for the exact opportunity that you just talked about, being able to have security and build a passive income stream that you could take with you into your retirement.
Understood.
So I'm going to get these videos out to you within the next 5 minutes. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to look at our calendar so we can get something in the calendar so I can get your feedback and see if this is something that we want to explore together.
Okay.
What does your calendar look like the early part of next week? Say about Tuesday?
That would be the 8th.
Say it again.
And
She said that'd be the 8th.
Yep, Tuesday the 8th,
Matter of
exactly.
health right now.
Yep, Tuesday the 8th.
we're available around afternoon on the 8th.
Can we do 1:30?
Yeah, let's do 1:30.
I like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my calendar. I see you're doing the same. I'll send you out these 2 videos, and I'm also going to send you out a calendar invite to ensure that you have the invitation for us to speak 1:30 on Tuesday.
Okay, that sounds terrific.
Guys, I really enjoyed our initial conversation. I appreciate you being so open-minded. You're going to absolutely love this platform.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
You take care. Have a great rest of the day. Darren, nice talking to you as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
It ain't hard. All you do is you got to ask
awesome.
questions and work it. So work it. Corey, excited?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right?
You're a machine, Eric. We've heard you many times, but that was perfect as always.
Listen, the reality is that you're all machines. Any one of us can do this. These are questions. All I did is ask the same 9 questions I am the guy at McDonald's flipping burgers in the back of the restaurant. Jeff Setlow came and said, Eric, I love your system. I love your dialogue. Let me take this and automate it, which is why we created Attraction Flow. Be on the lookout. It will be available within the next 30 days. I promise you, you're going to love the system. Guys, have a good rest of the day.